Hello and welcome to the June 8th, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on our YouTube page. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. So, hello everybody. Tonight we are doing yet another cool news episode, covering the very cool news that we and the Nick's Newsies have found throughout the year. They may not have made the cut as good news, but we definitely like to showcase them because of just how cool they are. So we thank you all for tuning in. All of these articles tonight are going to be abridged versions because we do several more than we normally do during a broadcast. Producer Donna has gone through the articles and has made abridged versions for me to read so we can keep things down to about an hour for our broadcast. But as usual, the links will be attached to every single one of the articles, so you can read the full articles if you wish. Oh, links are in the description, by the way. Hello, Joseph. If you're wondering why my voice is trashed, we'll talk about that in the shout-outs. For starters, though, let's get into our news brew. We have another Producer Donna special, delivery from her. Behold, Oaty McOatFace by Full Beard Brewing Company. This is a 5.2% ABV oatmeal stout full of Oaty goodness, packed full of Oaty goodness. It should be smooth drinking on very smooth waters. I love the artwork, too, of Full Beard Brewing. So, because it is a stout, we're going to use the limited edition Harpoon Snifter. We don't need the Balisong bottle opener because we're not going to crack open a bottle, and we'll get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour. It is not quite the motor oil we sometimes drink on this show, but it's definitely got some darkness to it. And we want to get all that gas out of there. Hello, Nico. Very good. Dark looking beer. Oh, packed full of the oats, brother. Shoutouts for this week. On behalf of Nick's News, happy Pride Month to everyone, to all of our brothers, sisters, and everyone in between. We see you, we hear you, we love you. Cheers. Oh, that's smooth as could be. Ooh, a little jammy. That's a good one, Producer Donna. Thank you very much for this beer. Do you want some fine wine or cider? Fox and Hen Winery is located between downtown Grand Haven and Allendale. They specialize in small batch wines and ciders that reflect the Lake Michigan climate. You can check them out Fridays and Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And usually on Fridays I'm there. If I'm going to be at Fox and Hen on a Friday, I will post ahead so that folks can come out and join me for a glass of wine or a glass of cider. So to Fox and Hen, cheers. Jammy can mean one of two things for a beer. Jammy can be a texture, like a very full kind of syrupy feel, or it could be a flavor. In this case, it is kind of a flavor. There's a little bit of like some sort of berry at the end of this. I don't know where it's coming from, but it is really nice. Hello, Becky. Hello, Dirty Rogue. Pleasure to have you both with us. Becky says, yes, I made it. Dirty Rogue has arrived. Last shout out, Waypoint LARP wrapped up their second event of 2025 this weekend, and that is why my voice is trashed. I do a lot of talking at these events, and there's a lot of dust as well that I inhale. So my lungs are full of dust. I am coughing a little bit, but I am on the mend. Best thing everyone who participated can do, drink plenty of water, get rest, take care of yourself. As Ed put, the care doesn't stop at the end of the event. Take care of yourselves, folks. I want to thank everybody who made it out to Waypoint for this event. It was a very memorable one, to say the least. Next weekend will be Haven LARP's second event of 2025, another fantastic time to look forward to in the woods. So to Waypoint LARP for wrapping up their second event, and for Haven's second event coming up soon, cheers. Becky in the chat, who was with us out at Waypoint LARP, that was a lot of dust. Yes, it was. News quote: "No matter how bleak or menacing a situation may appear, it does not entirely own us. It can't take away our freedom to respond, our power to take action." That comes from Ryder Carroll, who is an author, a digital product designer, and the inventor of the Bullet Journal. And that, I think, for depending on the times for everybody, I think that is important to remember, that kind of how things affect us is how we allow it to affect us, but we aren't held back. So no matter how bleak or menacing a situation may appear, it does not entirely own us. It can't take away our freedom to respond or our power to take action. So from Ryder Carroll, cheers. Dirty Rogue, I appreciate the dust and sand to help me get into character, but it was a bit much. Yes, it was. Nico, sorry I missed it. Got a little sinus infection. Oh no, Nico, I'm so sorry that you got a sinus infection. Glad to hear you are looking forward to the next weekend, though. Yes, we do. Becky just said, hope you feel better, Nico. Yes, from behalf of Nick's News. Nico, we hope you feel better, too. Bug update. So between last episode and today, Producer Donna did request that I check up with Elmira. Obviously, I do check in on Elmira when I can, but it's very difficult because Elmira's vivarium is 40 pounds of dirt and glass and plants, and Elmira herself in there. So I did manage to pull her entire vivarium to the edge of the table because her burrow is at the very far back corner, and I managed to get my flashlight and look at her. And she responded to the light. She moved her little antenniform legs a little, and then she got really upset that I was peering in at her with a flashlight, and she moved away. So she is alive and well. She just is still in hibernation. So I believe it is a timer thing. We'll just keep an eye out now that things are warming up. Hopefully Elmira will grace us with her presence. Sue was not happy that I was gone for the weekend, nor was he happy that I returned alive. But that is Sue in a nutshell. Ripley was actually scuttling around when I got home, and was very nice to see moving about and being so active. I've got to feed her again. I think she's just really hungry. On a final bug update somber note, Mantis McLeod has passed away. He has decided to end the great game, and he has left us. When I got back from the event, I checked in, of course, on all the bugs, and he had peacefully passed, or was in the process, and then earlier today the process was completed. He peacefully passed, just kind of chilling in his home, and it was great to know that he had such a long life, and he's a testament to his species. Male mantises do not normally have very long lifespans, and that's not because of potential cannibalization. It's more just that they're on a timer the moment that they come out, that they have their final molt, and he lasted a while. So to Mantis McLeod, rest in peace, buddy. You were the one. Cheers. Hi, TNT. All right. Nico, we'll miss you, Mr. Mantis. What a long life. Yes, he did have a very long life, even for his species. Oh, Fry! Sorry, TNT is Fry. Hello, Fry. I'm sorry it doesn't say your name, and I can't change it to say your name, but I am glad you are here tuning in with us. Let's get into our news. So this is our cool news episode. So our cool news episode is broken up into 4 major cool categories: cool science and technology, cool health and medicine, cool flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and cool wholesome notes, the last ones that we want to end on good notes. So we are going to start off in category 1, cool science and technology. We call this first one From Russia with Love. And I will copy and paste this into the chat. Remember, I'm going to read the abridged versions, but if you want to check out the full articles, you can check these out by clicking on them in the descriptions or by clicking on them in the chat. So let me open up my cool news. Actually, let me move some stuff around real quick to make this a little easier for myself. Nope, that's flora and fauna. There it is. All right. China signs deal with Russia to build a power plant on the moon. This comes from Live Science on May 13th of 2025 by Ben Turner. Russia has signed a deal with China to build a nuclear power plant on the moon. The Russian reactor will be used to power the International Lunar Research Station, or the ILRS, jointly led by China and Russia, and should be completed by 2036. Not a lot of time to get started on that, guys. According to a memorandum of cooperation signed by the two nations, the construction of the Chinese-Russian reactor will likely be carried out autonomously without the presence of humans, according to a 2024 interview with Yuri Borisov, Director General of the Russian space agency Roscosmos, on the Russian state-owned news site TASS, T-A-S-S. While details of how this can be achieved remain unclear, Borisov added that the technological steps are almost ready. The station will conduct fundamental space research and test technology for long-term uncrewed operations of the ILRS, with the prospect of a human being's presence on the moon, Roscosmos wrote in a May 8th announcement following the signing of the memorandum. The new research station, a permanent manned lunar base located on the moon's south pole, has so far attracted 17 countries to join the program, including Egypt, Pakistan, Venezuela, Thailand, and South Africa. Its groundwork will be laid by China's 2028 Chang'e 8 mission, which will be the nation's first time landing an astronaut on the lunar surface. The roadmap for the ILRS was first unveiled in June of 2021, with China and Russia announcing they would loft the pieces for a robotic moon base using 5 super heavy-lift rocket launches from 2030 to 2035. Once these basic pieces are established, China plans additional launches that will extend the base further, connecting it to a space station orbiting the moon and 2 nodes located at the moon's equator and its far side. Wu Yanhua, the chief designer of China's deep exploration project, said at a 2024 media conference, according to state media outlet Xinhua. This extended model, laying the foundations for manned landings on Mars, should be completed by 2050. It will be powered by solar, radioisotope, and nuclear generators, Wu said. It will also include lunar Earth and high-speed lunar surface communication networks, as well as lunar vehicles like a Hopper, an unmanned long-range vehicle, and pressurized and unpressurized manned rovers. That is really cool, and potentially a neat step in space exploration. To China and Russia planning to build a nuclear power plant on the moon, good luck and cheers. That beer is really helping my throat right now. Yes, as producer Donna just put it, after it is built, then it will be manned for research. All right, this next one we called Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, Revenue. This one, let's see, here we go. China's dying EV batteries and solar cells are powering a circular economy worth $38 billion per year. And this came from goodnewsnetwork.org on May 9th of 2025 by Andy Corbley. China has always placed importance on self-sufficiency, and now the world's largest consumer of industrial metals is digging mines into its own waste remains, or waste streams. The largest producer of solar panels, batteries, and EVs, Chinese businesses are seeing in these valuable products equally valuable opportunities for recycling and revenue. The China Resources Recycling Group, created by the State Council last year, is seeking to bring together businesses with the expertise and infrastructure to recycle offline e-waste in large quantities for its lithium, cobalt, copper, gold, aluminum, and nickel. According to the national publication Economic Daily, the trade in recycled materials from wind and solar power and EV batteries has grown to an enormous sum of $38.5 billion per year. Chinese manufacturers produce the greatest share of the world's electric vehicles, and after a decade of growth, the first wave of battery retirements is crashing down on the Chinese economy. In just a few years, the retired battery tonnage is expected to reach 4 million tons. Speaking with South China Morning Post, a pair of business owners said they are seeing big revenues in recycling coming from batteries and solar cells. One, Tianli Technology in Zhejiang Province, earns a quarter of all profits from just batteries, while the much larger Henan Harui Intelligent Technology has 70% of its productive capacity dedicated to making machines that recycle batteries and solar panels. Beijing has so far enrolled 156 businesses to standardize the battery recycling market's practices for avoiding workplace accidents and environmental contamination. That's right, making batteries is messy business. Previous eras of industrial growth in China have led to disastrous instances of environmental contamination, something subsequent CCP efforts have strived to prevent. Lithium-ion batteries contain toxic metals and compounds that can leach into soils and waterways, so proper recycling is key. It's also rewarding, as every gram of nickel and lithium safely extracted helps keep bottom lines high. China became the first country to have over 100 gigawatts of total installed photovoltaic capacity back in 2017, and as of 2024 was home to 1 in every 3 panels installed worldwide, as it added 277 gigawatts of solar power in that one 12-month period, equivalent to 15% of the world's total installed solar capacity. The recycling chains for solar power are less developed than for batteries, in part because the environmental impact of batteries is higher than retired solar panels. But if the growth in producing panels, producing batteries, and recycling batteries is any indication, one would expect this deficiency to disappear rapidly as the country begins to retire its first generation of solar panels. So utilizing dying EV batteries and solar cells to power the economy. It's pretty cool. So to everybody involved in that process, cheers. Becky reminding producer Donna that the next LARP is in September, or the next Waypoint LARP event is in September. Quite a ways away. But we'll all hold out for it. All right. Next article we called Running with the Pack. I will copy and paste this into the chat. Becky just followed that up with, and as promised, Nick wasn't cursed or harmed in any way, though I might have tried a little bit on Saturday. Yes, Becky did try to get my character killed on Saturday night. It was a great shot. So I will copy and paste this next article into the chat. Kawasaki's wolf-inspired four-legged robot lets riders traverse uneven terrain. This was posted to Interesting Engineering on April 6th of 2025, on my birthday, by Bojan Stojkovsky. And as producer Donna just said, this thing is so cool. I implore you, check out the link and look at this thing. Kawasaki Heavy Industries Group, the multinational automotive conglomerate from Japan, has debuted the prototype of a hydrogen-powered, four-legged robot designed to be ridden by humans. Named Corleo, the robotic vehicle was unveiled at a showcase event at the upcoming Osaka Kansai Expo 2025. The wolf-inspired Corleo robot has 4 legs for navigating uneven topography and is envisioned as an all-terrain alternative to motorcycles. Riders mount it like a horse, but its movement and designs are akin to agile animals like deer and panthers. According to the company, the vehicle is beginner-friendly, offering maneuverability, stability, and allowing riders to traverse mountainous areas. Dirty Rogue reminds me I was fine. I had a stabby little fox watching my back. Thank you, Meebo. Powered by a hydrogen fuel cell and a 150cc engine, Corleo reflects a growing trend among Japanese manufacturers to embrace cleaner energy solutions. Kawasaki envisions launching the rideable robot within the next 25 years, pegging it as a futuristic option for all-terrain exploration. There is also a video of it that I believe is out of that thing in action, or maybe it is a concept video, but it seems absolutely bonkers and cool. Corleo's 4 independent robotic legs operate autonomously. It also features integrated machine learning/AI systems for enhanced balance and navigation. The design of the robot reportedly draws inspiration from video games such as PlayStation's Horizon Zero Dawn, which is actually a fantastic video game. Unlike traditional controls, Corleo responds to the rider's body movements. Shifting the rider's center of gravity prompts the robot to adjust its steps in real time. A heads-up display delivers crucial data, including hydrogen levels, navigation details, and movement stability, such as weight distribution. However, as a conceptual model, Corleo currently does not come with detailed technical specifications, such as information on speed, range, or battery life. Kawasaki envisions this futuristic animal robot eventually replacing the traditional off-road motorcycles. The company, known for building high-speed trains, aircraft engines, and off-road vehicles, is positioning itself at the forefront of innovation as it leads the shift towards next-generation mobility in vehicle manufacturing. I think that thing looks amazing. So to Kawasaki for making a crazy animal robot, cheers. Becky said that thing does look cool. Chris Hollander says, "Oh, I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. It was a great game. I think it still is." All right, last article of cool science and technology we called "Beware of Ewoks." I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Or, well, if y'all want to read the article, again, I'm reading abridged versions because we have so many articles. I think we have 11 articles. Normally we do 6 or 7. We've got 11 cool news articles tonight, so that's why I'm doing the abridged ones. Air bike takes to the skies, flies at 124 miles per hour, and turns sci-fi into reality. This also came from Interesting Engineering on May 4th of 2025 by Prabhat Ranjan Mishra. A Polish firm has turned science fiction into reality as its Star Wars-styled air bike has taken to the skies. Volanaut's flying motorbike, a futuristic single-occupant vehicle, is a breakthrough in personal air mobility. Powered by jet propulsion, the superbike for the skies can carry one person at up to 124 miles an hour. Volanaut claims that the airbike's proprietary stabilization system, enhanced by a flight computer, provides automatic hover and ease of control for its rider. While I read this, I'm also going to post the link to the YouTube video of it. Now again, if you want to check this out at your leisure, you can either watch it here, or you can click the link in the description if you do another watch through of this episode. Yep, Producer Donna, due to the delay, we included a link to the YouTube video. We are both on it tonight. With the use of advanced carbon fiber materials, 3D printing, and a minimalistic approach, the airbike is 7 times lighter than a typical motorcycle. The airbike offers a unique riding position with an unobstructed 360-degree view to help the rider quickly become one with the flying machine, and provides the sensation of complete freedom. This could be possible with airbike's extremely compact size and no spinning propellers. It can travel through most confined areas with ease. It's just loud as hell. Unlike the Jetson 1, the flying superbike has an open-air setup. It has no frame caging the flyer. They also lean to the front, unlike the eVTOL's lounge-like seating position. Footage shared by the company on YouTube shows the airbike moving across the forest ridgelines and dry lake beds, lifting and landing without assistance. The company hasn't yet revealed the price of the superbike yet. Even the complete commercial plan is yet to be disclosed by Volanaut. But it is friggin' cool. So to Volanaut for making an unbelievable airbike that looks like something out of Return of the Jedi. Cheers. For us being on top of it, Becky says, go team or Wonder Twin powers. Fantastic. Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of the host of Nick's News. Form of the producer of Nick's News. Alright, so that is going to take us out of cool science and technology. We are going to move on to category 2, cool health and medicine. Producer Donna, if we're Wonder Twins, that makes Grayson, our graphic artist, the monkey. We've got one article in Cool Health and Medicine, and we called it Eyes Wide Shut. I'll copy and paste the link in here if you want to read it. And I will read the abridged version. New contact lenses that enable vision in the near-infrared range, and they could restore color perception. This was posted to Live Science on May 22nd, 2025 by Ben Turner. Scientists have created night vision contact lenses that they claim can grant people supervision. The lenses, which use nanoparticles to absorb low-frequency light before emitting it in the visible spectrum, enable wearers to see infrared wavelengths that are otherwise invisible to the human eye. And unlike traditional night vision goggles, these lenses don't require a power source. Daku Yoru says, oh, sweet! We, Producer Donna and I were trying to come up with a title, like our little catchy title for this one, in themes regarding the Predator franchise, because infrared vision, that's awesome. First used in night combat during World War II, traditional night vision goggles use an electronic image intensifier tube to turn visible light, or near-infrared photons, into electrons. These electrons are then channeled onto a luminescent screen, causing it to glow green. If you ever looked through night vision, it does have a greenish tinge to it, and this is why. But these goggles typically need an energy source, which makes them bulky. Infrared goggles are also unable to precisely distinguish light across the infrared range, especially those at longer wavelengths. Daku Yoru, get to the chopper! Go! To create the new lenses, the scientists embedded nanoparticles inside flexible, non-toxic polymers typically used in soft contact lenses. The nanoparticles, which consist of sodium gadolinium fluoride embedded with luminescent ytterbium, erbium, and gold. Those are some elements I'm not aware of on the periodic table. Absorb near-infrared photons in the 800 to 1600 nanometer wavelength range before emitting them as visible light, wavelengths from around 380 to 750 nanometers. Daku Yoru, so basically everything looks like you're in the Matrix, MS-DOS green. Oh gosh. The researchers first tested their new lenses in mice. Mice sporting the new lenses favored dark boxes over those illuminated by infrared light, while those without the lenses showed no preference. Additionally, the pupils of lens-wearing mice constricted in the presence of infrared light sources, with brain scans showing that their visual processing centers were firing. Next, the team tried the lenses in humans. The people could perceive flickering infrared light and pick up on its direction. What's in Nick's glass tonight? Tonight we have Oaty McOatFace. Producer Donna picked me up Oaty McOatFace from Beard Brewing. Senior author Tian Zhu, a neuroscientist at the University of Science and Technology of China, said in a statement, "We also found that when the subject closes their eyes, they're even better able to receive this flickering information, because near-infrared light penetrates the eyelid more effectively than visible light, so there is less interference from visible light." So that means that when you've got these contacts in and you close your eyes, you can see you can pick up the infrared spectrum better. That's bonkers. The scientists replaced the nanoparticles embedded in the lenses with modified versions that mapped specific parts of the near-infrared spectrum to blue, green, and red, like predator vision. The researchers suggested that this tweak could be used to aid people with color blindness. Despite these promising advances, more work is needed before the lenses see the light of day. Good pun there. Currently, they only pick up light projected from LED sources, which are incredibly bright, so the scientists will need to boost the lens's sensitivity to pick up light from lower intensities. The lens's proximity to the retinas may also prevent them from detecting finer details, so the researchers have developed a wearable glass system for viewing objects at higher resolutions. Taku, that's insane and totally badass. I want 5. Becky, take my money! To everybody involved in the production of nanoparticle embedded contact lenses that can provide vision into the infrared spectrum. Cheers. Oh, that beer is so good. All right, that gets us out of cool health and medicine. We're going to move on to cool flora and fauna, aka cool plants and animals. This first article is a Nick's Newsy article. It comes from Charlie. Thank you very much, Charlie, for sending this in. We called it, "Don't Lick This Creamsicle." I will copy and paste this article into the chat, and I will read the abridged version. Oh, where'd my flora and fauna go? Uh-oh, where'd my flora and fauna go? Just a moment, folks. There it is. For some reason, my flora and fauna closed out. There we go. All right. Nobody knows why this snowy owl is orange. This was posted to the CBC on March 18th of 2025 by Sheena Goodyear. Julie Maggart spent... let me zoom that in a little bit too so I can read that properly. Julie Maggart spent 4 long days trying to snap the perfect picture of a snowy owl in Michigan whose unusual orange coloring has left scientists baffled. The amateur wildlife photographer was sitting in traffic, driving between scouting locations when she finally spotted the bird, which she has nicknamed Creamsicle, perched on a utility pole. Maggart says the shots are her proudest photographic achievement. She's been shooting photos of snowy owls for 6 years and has never seen one like this. Dr. Euro says, "It's mine, it's my color." That's awesome. Bird experts agree Creamsicle is rare and potentially even unique in its coloring, but they disagree about what's behind the orange feathers. Karen Cleveland, wildlife biologist with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, says they first started getting reports of the orange snowy owl about 2 months ago and have been tracking it ever since. Among the most likely explanations are genetic mutation, accidental staining, and deliberate staining. We are very much hoping it's not the last one, said Cleveland, wildlife biologist with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, which is tracking the bird. Deliberate staining is generally either explained by marking done for scientific research purposes or marking done by nefarious miscreants for reasons known only to themselves. We very much hope here at Nick's News that it is not something that has to do with miscreants, and if it is, we hope that horrible things come their way. The theory of genetic mutation was first proffered by Kevin McGraw, a biologist at Michigan State University who has written a book about bird coloration. He told local media outlet Michigan Live that Creamsicle's rusty plumage could be the expression of genes that are normally downregulated, but were triggered by an environmental stressor like pollution, heavy metal contamination, or pesticides. But several other bird experts have expressed skepticism about that theory. Doc, says, it just got into a bag of Cheetos. Too many sweet potatoes and squash. Nico followed that up with buffalo chicken sauce. Scott Weidensall, a co-founder of Project Snowstorm, a volunteer snowy owl research group, says, the photos make very obvious that the dye hit some feathers, but that those beneath were shielded, leaving clear, sharp white shadows that neatly match the shape of the colored feathers above. He says his group did not paint the feathers for tracking purposes, and neither have the other research organizations he's reached out to. But that doesn't necessarily mean someone vandalized the owl, he said. It seems pretty clear that the bird got sprayed, almost certainly by accident, with something that contained dye or paint, he said. Given the location, time of year, and propensity of snowy owls to hang around airports, Project Snowstorm colleagues and I think the most likely cause was airport de-icing fluid, some formulations of which are red and orange. And it's funny that's mentioned because I do remember I took a flight out during the winter time, and sure enough, the de-icing solution I remember had like an orange tinge to it. We were in the plane while they were doing further de-icing before we took off, so that's really interesting to think of. Daku says, baby likes Frank's Red Hot. Chill. The only way to find out for sure is to get a hold of the bird and test its molted feathers. And since Creamsicle seems to be healthy and well, they have no intention of bothering it. Based on photos, he suspects Creamsicle is a juvenile male, and while being a weird color could put a serious crimp in its social life, when it's time to find a mate, he says the bird will likely have molted and lost all of its orange by then. So to everybody tracking Creamsicle, the bright orange snowy owl, and to Charlie for sending in that article. Cheers. This next one we called The Most Adorable Flower Girl, and this was sent in by Rebecca. So thank you very much, Rebecca. And I will copy the article and put it in the chat if you all want to check it out. I bumped the table, my bad. Baby elephant at Oregon Zoo throws her own floral parade, and it's too cute. This comes from Yahoo Life on May 26th of 2025 by Mary Hawkins. Ever since baby elephant Tula arrived at the Oregon Zoo, people have been captivated by just how precious she is. It's been so much fun to watch her grow up alongside mom Rose, and at 500 pounds, she's getting to be quite the big girl. The zoo shared a new video of Tula 2 and her mom on TikTok on May 23rd, and she's having quite the field day while throwing her own very special floral parade. The caption on the video reads, "Everything's coming up Tula. Today, this 500-pound baby elephant was named Grand Marshal of the 2025 Grand Floral Parade." The Grand Floral Parade is taking place on June 7th in Portland, Oregon, and it's a time-honored tradition in the city. For more than 117 years, that's right, cue the Halo music, Portland families, visitors, and community groups have been making memories at the Grand Floral Parade. A colorful reflection of local, regional, and international communities, the parade draws hundreds of thousands of cheering viewers of every age along a route that makes its 2-mile march along Portland's downtown city streets. However, even though Tula 2 was named Grand Marshal, if you attended the parade, sadly, you wouldn't actually see her. A larger-than-life mock elephant appeared as Tula 2 on the Alaska Airlines float. For an up-close glimpse of this cutie, you'll have to make the visit to the Oregon Zoo. And the video of Tula 2 throwing flowers around is absolutely adorable. So to the Oregon Zoo, and to Rebecca for sending that article in, and to Tula 2 for having a floral parade and being the Grand Marshal of the floral parade. Cheers. This next one we called Nature is Really Friggin' Weird. And I'll copy and paste this article for y'all to read at your leisure. Scientists discovered bizarre 113-mill-year-old hell ant with killer scythe jaws. I love bugs, so producer Donna threw me a bone with a bug article. This came from SciTech Daily on May 7th of 2025 by Cell Press. A 113-million-year-old hell ant that once inhabited northeastern Brazil is now recognized as the oldest ant specimen ever discovered, according to a study published in the journal Current Biology. Preserved in limestone, the ant belongs to Haedomyrmecinae. Haedomyrmecinae. That should be Haedomyrmecinae, an extinct subfamily that lived only during the Cretaceous period. These ants were equipped with specialized scythe-like jaws, likely used to pin or impale their prey. Producer Donna and I are definitely sharing one brain cell tonight. Becky says, nature is really freaking weird, but so cool. Researchers say the fossil challenges existing ideas about ant evolution and their historical distribution. Previously, the oldest known ant fossils were found in France and Burma, preserved in amber. The discovery of a hell ant in Brazil indicates that ants had already spread across different regions and evolved into diverse forms much earlier than scientists had believed. Anderson Lepeco of the Museu de Zoologia da Universidade de São Paulo in Brazil and his team discovered the remarkably well-preserved ant specimen while systematically examining one of the world's largest collections of fossil insects from the Crato Formation, a deposit renowned for its exceptional fossil preservation. The collection is housed at the Museu de Zoologia da Universidade de São Paulo. Becky asking if Charlie will make it tonight. Well, I hope she does. I think we've got one more article from her down the road. When I encountered this extraordinary specimen, we immediately recognized its significance, not only as a new species, but as potentially the definitive evidence of ants in the Crato Formation, said Lepeco. This finding highlights the importance of thorough examination of existing collections, private or in museums, and brings a spotlight to Brazilian paleontology and the underexplored fossil insect fauna of the country, they added. Dirty Rogue says they can ping Charlie. Microcomputed tomography imaging, a 3D imaging technique that uses X-rays to view inside of an object, or the ant in this case, showed that the newly discovered ant was closely related to hell ants, previously known only from specimens preserved in Burmese amber. When I keep saying hell ants were a specific family of ants that lived way back during the time of the dinosaurs, clearly. They had their own features that distinguish them from today's modern ants, but at the same time were morphologically similar enough to be considered ants. But they were absolutely wild. I think we had a previous Nick's News episode where we talked about another hell ant, and we talked about how they got their name. So maybe we'll dig that out another time and talk about it if we have more hell ants come up. While we expected to find hell ant features, we were shocked by the characteristics of its feeding apparatus, said Lepeco. Unlike modern ants with laterally moving mandibles, this species possessed mandibles that ran forward parallel to the head and facial projection anterior to the eyes, the researchers noted. Finding such anatomically specialized ants from 113 million years ago challenges our assumptions about how quickly these insects developed complex adaptations. The intricate morphology suggests that even these earliest ants had already evolved sophisticated predatory strategies, significantly different from their modern counterparts. Most ants today follow a very similar body structure and jaw structure. I don't know if there are any real hell ants that still exist that have mouth parts that move like that. Most of them are just different variations of little pincer mouth parts. So I might have to do some research on that down the road. Producer Donna reminds me it was probably in the last cool news in March with the goat onesie. A lot of folks loved the episode with the goat onesie. Producer Donna, before I actually got everything going, suggested I put the goat onesie back on, but because I was running around in the woods all weekend, I vetoed that really fast. Nico with the pun, I didn't know that. Sorry, I can't laugh or I start coughing, but that was a good pun. The discovery of this new ant specimen raises broader questions about the evolutionary pressures that led to the hell ant's unique adaptations, say the researchers. With advanced imaging tools, it's now possible to examine such fossil specimens in much greater detail than ever before. To everybody at the Universidade de São Paulo, or the Musea de Zoologia de Universidade de São Paulo, who was involved in this study and discovered this ancient hell ant fossil, cheers. Okay. We called our... Oh, Joseph in the chat reminded me, how about the armor you won? I'm not going to... No. Oh, I do have it. No, I'm not going to wear it. Maybe at the end of the year. As a reminder of one of the funniest moments of the Waypoint LARP, I will wear the armor that I won. Without ever doing anything. We'll talk about it. So this is going to be our last article for cool flora and fauna. We called it Feathered Mathletes. And this is going to be a tiny URL because the normal URL is absolutely enormous. A crow's math skills include geometry. This was posted to NPR on April 12th of 2025 by Nell Greenfield-Boyce. Crows are able to look at a handful of four-sided shapes and correctly distinguish those that exhibit geometric regularity from those that don't, according to a provocative new study. It's the first time a species other than humans has been shown to have this kind of geometric intuition, says Andreas Neider, a cognitive neurobiologist at the University of Tübingen in Germany. Or Tübingen? It might be Tübingen in Germany. Claiming that it is specific to us humans, that only humans can detect geometric regularity, is now falsified, says Neider, because we have at least the crow. Previous research has demonstrated that regardless of age, culture, or education, humans are really good at noticing geometric regularity in shapes. Other critters might have an inherent interest or inherent sense of geometry too, says Neider, but until now, researchers mostly haven't focused on this ability in their tests of animals' mathematical skills. From previous articles, we'll remind you, crows and ravens are unbelievably good at math. Now, we can add geometry to that. He and his colleagues tested the abilities of two carrion crows that live in their lab. Previously, Neider's group had shown that the crow's counting ability rivals that of toddlers. The birds' work involves basically playing computer games that are designed to tease out how much they know about math. For this study, the birds would look at a computer screen and see a group of 6 shapes. To get a tasty treat of a mealworm, they'd have to peck on the shape that was different from the others. Daku says, corvids and pigeons can count. Fair State University used to train them. I did not know pigeons. Well, I think we might have had an article about pigeons a long time ago. Neurons are being triggered in my brain when you mention pigeons can count. That is really cool, Daku. Corvids are crows. Crows and ravens, I believe, are ravens in the corvid family. Someone want to check that? Ah, yes, and Producer Donna's cat can count. If you short Bruce just one treat, he knows. If someone wants to look up ravens and tell me what family they're in, I don't know if they're corvids, but crows, I believe, are corvids. I'll let someone do that. I'll get back into the article, and then we'll get back to it. Initially, we presented some very obvious different figures, says Neider. For instance, 5 moons and 1 flower. When the crows pecked on the flower shape, they got a snack. After the birds understood this game, the researchers started showing them sets of shapes that include squares, parallelograms, or irregular quadrilaterals. The crows might see, for example, 5 perfect squares along with one 4-sided figure that was just slightly off. What the researchers wanted to know is whether or not with these quadrilaterals they could still continue to find the outlier, even though the outlier was looking perceptually very similar to the other 5 regular shapes, explained Niter. Daku saying ravens and crows are corvids. Nico, Corvidae is a cosmopolitan family of Oscine passerine birds that contain the crows, the ravens, the rooks, the magpies. Those things are absolutely horrible. Jackdaws, jays, treepies, choes, and nutcrackers. Thank you both very much. Yeah, Daku's followed that up. I thought rooks and jackdaws were just other names for corvids, not their own species. I actually, at least, I didn't know about rooks, but I knew about jackdaws from another article, I think. Or maybe just some reading that I did in my spare time. Yes, it turns out the crows could determine the difference between shapes that were the same and that one shape that was slightly different. In the journal Science Advances, the researchers described a series of tests showing that crows clearly had a sense of right angles, parallel lines, and symmetry. He says since there's been virtually no work of this aspect of mathematics in species other than humans, Niter suggests that the geometric abilities of humans build on precursor capabilities that are more present in the animal kingdom than was previously thought. I hope that my colleagues are looking into other species, says Niter. I'm pretty sure they may find that other intelligent animals can also do this. To everybody involved figuring out that crows can do geometry, because, you know, they're just getting crazier with every article we talk about anything in the corvid family. Cheers. All right. That is going to get us out of cool flora and fauna. We are going to get into our final category, cool, wholesome notes. We've got 2 articles in this one. Our first one came from Cassidy, so thank you very much, Cassidy. We called this one Message in a Bottle. And I will post the link to this in the chat. And it is in the description if you want to check it out at your leisure. 14-year-old tossed a message in a bottle into the sea in 1976. Nearly 50 years later, he received the call. This was posted to Scoop Upworthy on April 23rd of 2025 by Prachi Malik. In 1976, 14-year-old Peter R. Thompson wrote a short note, sealed it in a glass Pepsi bottle, and had it launched into the Atlantic by the Coast Guard. The assignment was meant to be a science experiment, which, nearly 50 years later, turned into a reunion. The message inside read, I'm a 9th grade student from Pentucket Regional Junior High School. This is a science experiment because I am in an oceanography course. Will you please send this back to the address at the bottom and say where you found it, what day and time, and how? This was launched by a Coast Guard ship in the month of May 1976. The note drifted more than 1,000 miles before it was discovered by brothers Clint and Evan Buffington during a trip to a remote out island in the Bahamas. Clint told WCVB, describing the moment, beautiful sunny day, the waves are lapping, the sun is glistening on the water, not a cloud in the sky. All of a sudden, I hear my walkie-talkie crackle to life, and my brother says something like, you're not going to believe what I just found. Inside the bottle, they found the sand-covered note, browned with age, but still legible. Determined to find out who had written it, the brothers turned to social media. With the help from Boston journalist Emily Maya, they tracked down Thompson, who said, it's amazing. It's almost 50 years later. It's a big surprise, Thompson told WCVB. He doesn't remember writing the exact message, but he does remember the oceanography class. He also seemed glad to take a trip down memory lane. The Buffington brothers plan to return the note to Thompson soon. To Peter Thompson, who had the Coast Guard send out a message in a bottle back in 1976 and is going to get it back here in 2025 thanks to Clint and Evan Buffington. And to Cassidy for sending in that article. Cheers. Daku says, hope his teacher gave him an A. All right. Our last article of the night we called From Waste to Wonder, and this was sent in by Charlie. So thank you very much, Charlie. I will post the link to this here in the chat. Again, you can click the link on the description if you're checking out the replay at your leisure, or if you're checking out the posted episode tomorrow. Again, we go through and we repost the episode. I do a little bit of editing. I cut some things down, and then we post that version, which is more the official version of the episode. And there will be some other stuff down the road in that too. A little bit more editing. So we really appreciate y'all checking in with us here live, and then also checking out those episodes as well to maintain, just checking out our content. We greatly enjoy it, and thank you very much. So let's get into this article. From Waste to Wonder. Hesperia students unveil mural made of recycled waste. This was from Oceana County Press on June 5th of 2025 by Allison Scarbo. A large mural made of recycled waste entitled Reclaimed Beauty was officially unveiled at Vita Weaver Park on Thursday morning of June 5th. The unique mural was created by students in Monica Grimmard's 3D art class at Hesperia High School. The mural features a steelhead, a powerful symbol of Hesperia. That said Hesperia student body president Levy Montague. And if you don't know, a steelhead is a type of fish. These incredible fish make their way through the White River every spring and fall, and they represent the spirit of Hesperia, resilient, enduring, and deeply connected to nature. The idea spawned from a school field trip last year to the John Ballpark Zoo in Grand Rapids, where students observed an exhibit of art made from trash. So we got the idea that maybe we should try to do that here, because we have the river and we want to keep it clean. It's one of the best features of our town. Producer Donna reminding me, steelhead is a salmon. Thank you, Producer Donna. I had no idea how hard it was going to be or how long it was going to take, but with all the help of a lot of people, it's done, Grimmard said. The kids this fall started picking up trash, and we sorted it into colors. The mural began taking shape from there. It's been a really exciting adventure since then. We sorted a lot of things and pulled them apart until we could make something pretty beautiful. I asked them to do a lot of things they had never done before. They drilled and they pounded different textures. They used an iron on some of the plastics to make a different texture and harden the plastic. They used staple guns, glue guns, and all kinds of things. We broke glass, and we only had one emergency room visit, she said as the audience chuckled. Becky said, from trash to treasure. That would have been another really good one. We called it From Waste to Wonder, but trash to treasure is obviously another good article title for this. Daku says Hesperia has a lot of issues, so this is good news. Thank you, Daku. The plan is to take the mural down in the fall and cover it with a glazing of epoxy to winterize it, and then to put it back up. A $9,000 grant from True North Community Services and the Michigan Arts and Culture Council funded the entire project. To everybody involved in Monica Grimmard's 3D art class at Hesperia High School for creating a piece of art, Reclaimed Beauty, and to Charlie for sending in that article to us. Cheers. All right, so that is everything for tonight. 11 amazing articles, 11 amazing cool news articles, many of which were sent in by you, the Knicks Newsies, and we are, as always, appreciative. We thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News YouTube page. Again, we're live every Sunday. Our next episode will be a good news episode on June 15th of 2025. I almost said June 8th again, my bad. June 15th of 2025. We encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, by all means, you can post suggestions for news brews, for shout-outs, for news quotes, and especially good news articles or cool news articles that we can present on future episodes of Nick's News. If you do send in a bunch of articles, we appreciate it if you could spread them out across our 4 major categories, which are usually science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are all in the description. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our content on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram to get good news and joy into the algorithms that are basically running all of social media at this point. I'll never tell you what to do, but I can't thank you all enough for everything that you do. Every like, every subscription, every comment, just any interaction with our content just continues to drive Nick's News further and continues to spread the good news that we're really trying and this real Hope Core stuff that we are fixated on. So again, I thank you all so much. I can never stop thanking you all for all of your interaction with us in every way, shape, and form. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.